Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, this morning to another Nu Skin online prospecting training. My name is Brian McKenna. I'm one of the lead technical support supervisors on the system. Today, what we're going to be training and teaching you guys about is going to be effective follow-ups, analytics, and site stats. How to use this information and understanding the data and the reporting, and how to use that information for the best follow-up to each one of the prospects, whether it's information that they've requested and you've sent that out to them through one-click emails, or you've sent out, any number of different type of, Facebook or Twitter post, or even just them visiting the website and requesting more information from you that way as well. So without further ado, one of the first things that we're certainly going to talk about is your ability to know what's going on with your website, and it's going to help you know when you may be wanting to, of course, provide follow-ups. Some of us, of course, out there may want to immediately follow up with somebody that's just recently visited my website. If somebody's visited my website, I may not call them 5 minutes after I get that, text message or that notification, but I'll certainly give them, their time allotment to kind of, investigate, go through the website, kind of look at some of the different product lines or, of course, the opportunities, and then maybe, later in that afternoon, I'll give them a call and thank them for the visit to my website and ask them if there's any questions or concerns or, anything I might be able to help them out with. So the first thing that we're going to do is something that we looked at, of course, 2 weeks ago when we did a full and complete site setup, but I'd just like to touch base on it again because it's very important to kind of know what's going on at the time that it's happening with your website. And this is going to kind of give you a lot of different options to be able to, know what's going on. And, when somebody views a custom presentation or somebody registers on your lead capture page or a contact returns to your website, these are all going to be valid actions that's going to help you know when you might want to, of course, provide that follow-up. So as you can see here on the notification screen, how I got there is we went to the My Profile tab up in the upper right, and then we selected My Site Settings, that second option down. As we come into there, you'll see on the left-hand side we've got a number of different menu items. You'll go ahead and be defaulted at Website Display, but we're inside Notifications right here. As you can see, I'm going to have a couple of different options to be able to put in as many email addresses, up to 5 if I want to receive notifications, or I can even put in a cell phone number if I want to, of course, receive that via text message. A way that you can do that, as you can see, if you click inside any one of these email boxes, we'll let you know that you can, of course, send yourself a email to SMS message, depending on who your provider is, and you can find more information about what your SMS gateway might be for your cell phone service provider through this Wikipedia link that we have right here. As you can see, what I have in place here is txt.att.net. That's AT&T's SMS gateway. So if I wanted to use my cell phone as an email address, I just put in my 10-digit phone number, and then, of course, followed by that txt.att.net. And that's going to help ensure that I'm able to get some notifications delivered to my cell phone as a text message. So these are, again, the reasons why we'd want to send out a notification to you. Anytime somebody requests more information, we don't want to miss that opportunity. If somebody's asking to learn about, some of the product lines or more specifically the opportunities, we want to cover that. We want to, of course, help them out. Same thing with contact returns to the site. This is probably one of my favorite ones, just because if somebody has visited my site, I've contacted them, I've provided a follow-up in some form or fashion, and then they're like, hey, I'm not, not necessarily ready to make a decision, let me look at some more items and then, get back to me. And we can actually tell how many times they keep returning to the website. So every time that they keep coming back to the website, that's probably them looking at some additional videos or looking at some additional information about some of the product lines or, again, that opportunity. And if I see that that person has increased, their visits to my website, maybe that's going to be my cue to reach out to them and see if there's anything I might be able to assist them with. Any questions I can answer, get them signed up, get a product sample out to them or help them with their first product order, whatever the case may be. So that's going to be a great way to, of course, get followed up. Now, there is one option here I want to talk about real quickly that, again, we did talk about this 2 weeks ago in our webinar for site setup, but you have the capability to set up a lead capture page or landing page that each one of the visitors to your URLs, your NS Opportunity or your NS Products websites, they have the capability to submit their contact information to you. Now, obviously, if you're not making use of a lead capture page, you're going to have to wait until that person that visits your website takes your contact information and gets in contact with you. If you want to put more of the follow-up into your own hands, it's good to use a lead capture page because you're asking them to submit their contact information. So underneath the notifications, I can actually turn that on, and then I can additionally require that they leave me a phone number and or mailing address. By default, with the lead capture page on, it's going to ensure that I at least require them to submit an email address and their first and last name. And again, this just helps you be able to, of course, put the power of the follow-up in your hands. You've got their contact information. You're able to follow up with them based on their website visit or based on their request for more information. Now, one of the other things I want to talk about is it specifically relates to being able to do your follow-ups is being able to send these follow-ups out automatically. A huge part of that is something that we covered in great detail 2 weeks ago, which is the email server settings. Again, just to show you guys real quickly, if you do a test on these and the test does not go through, which we'll get that in just a second. There it is. So test email successful. I know my system is still capable of delivering my autoresponders. If you come in here and you get a big old red error box instead of the green success, that's when you're going to want to stop, perhaps contact a technical support representative. We'll be able to help you, of course, diagnose what may be going on with your email server settings and then get you back to business as usual by being able to send out one-click emails or what we're talking about right now, which is autoresponders. Now, a great way for you guys to provide a follow-up is very easily and automatically. You don't have to necessarily stay on top of the website to send out information based on what people may be doing on your websites. So as you can see, I'm looking right now at my autoresponder triggers. Now, each one of these triggers specifically relates to the lead capture pages that we were talking about. So if I've got my lead capture page engaged, somebody comes through and they submit their contact information to me, of course, I can get a notification about that. I can choose, when I'm going to follow up with them. But, let's face it, a lot of us are busy and we want to be able to share the information at the moment that somebody's requesting it. So a very great way to do that is through the use of the autoresponders, which is going to be an automatic way to send out an email campaign that contains a few messages, introducing them to further product lines or further opportunities by joining Nu Skin themselves. Now, as you can see, I can choose any one of the global campaigns that are available based on any one of my websites. So this is a Canadian website for me. So if somebody visits my Canadian products website, I can choose that anybody gets, of course, the product campaign for ageLOC. So if somebody comes to that website today, submits that contact information for me on that lead capture page, tomorrow I'm automatically going to kick them off on an ageLOC product campaign. I don't necessarily have to worry about the follow-up. It's going to be done for me. Now, of course, if you want to do it a little bit more custom, you can certainly leave these at none. I suggest for those of us who are a little bit new to, of course, marketing or being able to share the information, or you don't necessarily have a lot of time to stay on top of the websites, is help yourself out and set up some items to go ahead and get this set up a little bit. The next thing that we're going to take a peek at real quick is actually going to be the autoresponders themselves. Let me change my markets, and there we go. So as you can see, we've got ageLOC product campaigns, ageLOC opportunity campaigns. Now, one of the things that's beautiful about this particular part of the system is I have the capability to create my own custom autoresponders, which is going to give me kind of a leg up. I can say the things that I need to say. I can include any one of the digital media items that's already available to us in the system. I can create those items with presentations, PDFs, whatever the case might be. And then, of course, I can create any part of the message that I want to, say what I need to, tell it to go forward, add another message, quite a bit. We're going to go into more depth and detail in 2 weeks on solely the power of these autoresponders. I just kind of wanted to show you where they're located just because we're talking about them. And then, of course, being able to look at them. So I'll change my language again for no filter, and then we'll see them all again. So again, that's going to be, the effective ways to follow up is being able to be notified about when somebody visits the website, or using the triggers to know when somebody has viewed a presentation. Is you can automatically do the follow-ups through the use of these autoresponder email campaigns. Now, the next couple of items that we're going to be looking at, as I talked about what we're going to be discussing this morning, is we're going to talk about understanding data and reporting and how to use that information for the best follow-up. So how we're going to do that is we're actually going to use the contact management system this morning. So to get there, we just go up to Contacts at the top of the ops system, and then we're going to select Manage Contacts. And then as you'll see, I've got a number of different contacts. I've got a total of 51 people inside my system already. And I've got a couple of points located on some of these people because they've either been sent information or they've visited my website. And of course, the ops system is currently tracking them. Now, in your contact profile page right here, what you can do is click on these little, of course, point columns, and it's going to bring up information. So, excuse me, as we can see, I've got an interest level that I set to 4, so they've got a total of 8 points from that. I can see that they've visited my website 3 different times, and they get 12 points for each one of those for a total of 36. I've had 10 different website visits at 5 points apiece for, of course, a total of 50 points. We've got 5 different presentations that were viewed with 2 points apiece, which is going to be the total of 10 points. And they've watched 3 videos of mine at 4 points apiece for a total of 12 points. So that gives us a total of 116. Now, obviously, following that kind of trend, the more that one of the contacts that's in my system that I'm tracking, the more they look at information, the more they visit my websites, the higher that this particular point total is going to climb. Now, this is just kind of a quick glance indicator to find out who your hot prospects might be. If you notice that, Dan right here is at 47 points, but you come into your contact management system tomorrow and he's now at 300 or some odd points, he spent a lot of time on the website within the last 24 hours. Maybe you might want to follow up with him. Now, another part to being able to understand, of course, the information that we capture for you guys about each one of the contacts is going to specifically be a part of each one of the contacts' profile pages. And how I got to there real quickly is we're in the contact management system. You've got 2 different ways that you can get there. You can either hover above the person's name and click, or you can just use the view option all the way out to the right. Once we come into, of course, the contact profile page, we've seen a little bit of this information before. I can edit their contact info. I can edit what current autoresponder campaign they may be on. But more importantly, what we're looking at down here is going to be the reporting. Now, the cool thing about it is I can see that this particular contact has visited my website 3 different times. I can see what date and times they were at, what website page they were looking at, so I can see that they looked at the element bars back in September, and then in October, and then again in December, they looked at the galvanic body spa. I can see that when he was on the element bars page back in September, he actually spent quite a bit of time on my website, and he viewed 10 different pages. I can also see at these times that he only looked at the galvanic body spa before leaving the website again on the December 13th and October 18th. We can also check out what homepage videos are viewed, and this is probably one of my favorite features in looking at the stats and kind of understanding what's going to be the best way to approach my prospect based on what information they viewed or have not viewed. Now, when it comes to the homepage videos, what's very, very helpful is not only can I see what's the name of the video that they watched, but what date and time, but more specifically, what percentage of that video completed before they left the website. Now, obviously, if these do say 100%, I can't guarantee you that that person paid attention to the video, but I can guarantee you that they did not close that website before that video finished completely playing. So as we can see here on October 3rd, he only watched 19% of it, meaning he probably clicked on something else on the website. He didn't let it play from start to finish. Same thing, only 4% on October 3rd, or, basically at the same time. And then we can see that back in September that they let the video play completely at 2 different times for the ageLOC Vitality and ageLOC Wow videos. Another one of my favorite options is actually being able to see what top web pages are they looking at. Now, as it comes to your guys' opportunity in your NS Products websites, there's a lot of different sub-level web pages of information that people are able to look at. They're able to look at, the vitality stories or testimonials from the ageLOC. They're able to look at specific galvanic body spa information, the element bars, revolutionary discovery, partnerships, innovation, history. And then, of course, we've also got information where people are looking at it in Spanish as well. So as I can see, this specific contact has come through and looked at a number of different websites for me, and I can see which one has been more popular to them. This particular bar graph is going to be a good way for me to specifically hit on, because this person might be a little bit more interested in, say, the ageLOC Galvanic Body Spa than perhaps any one of the other items. Let's say the actual element bars, where to go? There it goes. So if the element bars was this bar all the way down here to match these, I know this person's probably going to be more interested in the body spa stuff because they've looked at it a lot more. Same thing with presentation videos that you guys send out to them. If you can include a presentation with any one of the emails or autoresponders that you're automatically emailing out based on somebody's visit to your website, you can see, when they watched it, what videos were a part of that presentation, what the presentation's name was, in date and time, and of course percentages. And that's going to be reporting, and you can get the specifics by opening the reporting over here. So this gives you your basic line graphs, bar graphs, and then opening reporting is going to give you your specifics, so that way you can see, okay, what was that content? Now, another couple of things I want to talk about real quickly is contact activity. This is a pretty cool little panel right here that's essentially going to show you everything that you've sent to this person and every time that they have visited your website. So real quickly, as you can see that on January 15th, just at the beginning of this new year, I sent out a presentation in an email, check out these testimonials. The day before that, I sent them out, of course, an ageLOC teaser and, of course, the secret to radiant, youthful-looking faces. And the day before that, I sent them out a video containing information on the creamy hydrating mask tips. So as you can see, it shows us every time that they visited, every time that we've sent them. You can see even the autoresponders right here. So back on September, I sent them the very first message in the campaign called Watched Presentation. I can see when they were automatically added to that presentation. So this is basically a tell-all of what's kind of happened with this contact. What information have you sent to them? How many times have they been back to the website? Have they looked at some of those presentation items? And again, this is all in an effort. We keep this information on record for you guys, for you to know, okay, this person has looked at this. This person has not looked at this. Maybe I need to send them some information containing this other opportunity or this other different product line that may meet one of their other needs. So again, very, very helpful information contained in each one of the the contact profile pages. So if we go back to, of course, the system, we can even click on somebody else, and we can see that their stats are going to be a little bit different. We don't have any website visits. He doesn't have as many homepage video views. Same thing for top web pages viewed. He's only viewed, my website 3 different times, essentially. And then again, I can see all the times that he's visited the website, what videos I've sent them, what autoresponders. I can see that they watched a presentation. That's how they got added to this drip campaign. So it's a good little tattletale on them. Now, some of the, of course, other items that you guys are going to have access to is you won't see the global site statistics. That's because I'm an admin, so you guys won't have this admin option. So if you're wondering how come you don't have this option in your drop-down menu for My Sites, that's why. But you will have My Site statistics. Now, of course, I haven't had much activity on my websites within the course of the last 30 days because that's what my dates are set to, which is from March 9th, 2014 out to today's date. But I'm able to see what, how many visitors came to my website in that 30-day period, or if I wanted to, I could even make it just over the last week and change the dates. I can see, how many pages were viewed in that week. I can see how many site visitors, how many websites were viewed, how many emails did I send out from my ops system in that 7-day period, how many videos were viewed in that 7-day period, or how many contacts do I have completely in the system within the last 7 days as well. I can see how many people in the last week that I added to Nu Skin product websites or their area of focus, how many contacts I added to, of course, the Nu Skin opportunity. I don't have a whole lot of course, emails because I haven't sent anything out in the last 7 days. But another one thing I want to show you guys is when it comes to your email sent and action emails. Now, we're going to be talking a whole lot about this, of course, in 2 weeks' time when we go over the sole power of autoresponders and what type of content to put in them and making them actionable. And what I mean by that is always including some type of item inside the emails that you're sending out that's going to bring that person back to your Nu Skin, your NS Opportunity website or your NS Products website. That's realistically the goal in each one of the messages that you're sending out. You want to make them actionable. You want to draw the person back to your website because we know now that if they come to my website, they're likely going to fill out, of course, my guest book page or that lead capture or landing page, whichever verbiage we want to use. I know that the system's going to start tracking the information that they're doing on the website. So it's very, very helpful to kind of give yourself a leg up and kind of course, have actionable items. Always include a video for them to watch, or always include a directed, website link that takes them to a specific spot on either one of your websites, or send them a PDF that talks about, some of the, health benefits of using some of the different product lines, or even, some of the benefits as it pertains to the opportunity of becoming a Nu Skin distributor as well. You can see what type of emails have been sent on what date ranges and top email types. Again, ones with videos, ones with PDFs and things like that. So this is kind of helped to kind of show you what you've done in a certain period of time. And that's going to let you know whether you might want to increase, of course, the emails that you're sending out on a weekly basis. Maybe you've noticed that over the course of the last week, you've got a whole lot less site visits than you did the previous week. Maybe there was something that you did differently, or perhaps people just weren't clicking. So realistically, this is a good way for you guys to come inside the system. Like I said, make sure you're setting up different things like inside the My Site settings, notifications. Give yourself a chance to capture somebody's information through the use of a lead capture page. Also ensure that you're maybe using an autoresponder campaign to automatically follow up with somebody based on that visit or request for more information, or even these 2 conditional triggers. Did they watch the information the first time I sent it to them, or did they not? Now, obviously, if they didn't send or watch that information, I would maybe want to wait a considerable time before sending them something else. If they did watch it, maybe I want to send them a little thank you message or something. And this is where you could come up with your own presentation. So I've got my presentations right here, and then I've also got the different ones down here for autoresponder campaigns. So these are the global ones that everybody's got access to, and then these are the 2 that I've made inside my ops system myself. Save that information, and that gets me taken care of. And again, going into your contacts profile pages and looking specifically at what information have I already sent this person. How active have they been on my website? When was the last time they came by? What was the last piece of information that I sent them? This is all going to be helpful information to help you know exactly where in the prospecting process you may be. That's pretty much going to take care of course, understanding the data and the reporting and how to use that information, again, for the best follow-ups to your prospects based on your contacts or their visits or what information they've ingested already. Now, one of the things I do want to touch on, because it's pretty neat just over the course of the last month, we have some end-of-month promo stats for you guys as it concerns your guys' ability to push content out to, of course, your Facebook and your Twitter pages. So I've got some interesting stats that I want to go over with you guys as it pertains to your authorizations just on Facebook. We don't necessarily have the stats from Twitter as of yet, but for Facebook, I've got some absolutely amazing, of course, comparisons. Just as an example, Nu Skin's corporate Facebook page has an audience of 17,273 people following that corporate page. Now, based on, of course, the end of the month and all, of course, the information that they posted to their page, they only got a total of 5,366 impressions. Now, to Facebook, what an impression is every time that that particular post gets posted to somebody else's newsfeed. That means it shows up in their newsfeed. So that basically only went out. So they've got an audience of 7,000 plus people, and they only had 5,000 plus impressions. Based on, of course, that usage, they only had, through that entire month, 90 clicks to order, which basically was about 14 orders on average per post, with an estimated revenue of only pulling in about a little over $4,200 for that month, just based on those Nu Skin Facebook posts on the corporate page. Now, I'm going to draw a very, very stark difference between the use of a fan page or a business page versus the people who are currently using the system on your guys' personal Facebook pages. Get ready for some big numbers. Okay, the audience that you guys have is usually about 244 people per authorized user. So that means for every one of you people who already have this Facebook application authorized right here, the average of friends that you have on your system is about 244. Now, based on each one of the posts that you guys have been doing during that month, you actually had a collective impressions rate of 166,408, which completely dwarfs the impressions that the Nu Skin corporate page was getting, right? You want to look at the clicks to order. We're looking at 589 clicks to order based on your guys' authorizations and pushing that content to your personal Facebook pages. So let's look at that number again. We had 90 clicks to order on the corporate Facebook page because of the posts that were shown on there versus you guys, excuse me, that all have everything authorized on your Facebook being able to generate 589 clicks to order just in the course of that month, which that actually breaks down to a total order of 2.4 orders per post that was put on Facebook up this last month. Now, the orders estimated was, of course, the click to orders is going to tell you how many times people went and actually did that. The orders that actually came through for that particular month off of all those posts was 90 complete orders. That means they went through the entire shopping process, they processed their card, they made the purchases. Now, the estimated revenue just for the last 30 days, just because of some of you guys having authorizations to Facebook, we're looking at about $26,500. So 26,555. So 26,555. So again, that's a huge, huge gap in margin based on the type of impressions that you guys are able to get through the use of your personal Facebook pages and sharing that information with people. You know, whether it's about you know, some of the information will actually go into the auto post section real quick and look at some of those categories. So as you guys can see, this is including posts that may be coming from famous failures posts. That means somebody clicked on it, they ended up getting to your website through it, or even some of these Nu Skin product and opportunity posts. These 36 different posts are going to be potentially helping you guys bring in that kind of revenue by sharing the information. So if you don't already have your authorization set up, if you come over here and you followed what I did, we go to Social Tools, Auto Post, and then you come over here and go to Social Networks. If you've got just a solitary authorized button right here, you're missing out on a lot of opportunities just based on that little sample that we did over the past 30 days. And again, like I said, an audience that Nu Skin Corporate has is a little over 17,000 people following their corporate page. For each one of our authorizations on Facebook, you guys have an average of only 244 people following your page on your personal pages. And so the impressions, again, just to draw that parallel, only a little over 5,000 impressions. So that doesn't even necessarily get to a third of the audience that Nu Skin Corporate's page has. Now, if we're looking at the average audience of you guys about having 244 people on your friends list, you've got collectively, like I said, 166,408 impressions. That means that the posts were published to other people's news feeds and their walls and everything 166,000 times, almost, almost 166,000 and a half. So very, very good information that we were able to, of course, find out. Like I said, if you've got that solitary authorized button, let me show you real quickly. We're just going to deauthorize it. If it looks like this, you want to click on authorize, and you want to do yourself the best service that you could possibly do to share this information and authorize that application. Now, obviously, I've still got it connected to mine, so the authorization just went right back through. If you clicked on it and it doesn't authorize, it's going to take you to basically Facebook or Twitter's login page to put that information in. So let's go back to the ops system real quick. And that's pretty much going to be the presentation that I had for you guys. As I said, it's super, super important. just to kind of get a grasp on what kind of information that the system's able to track, what kind of information is the system going to notify you about. So that way you're in the know. You know what's going on. You know what people are looking at. You know what they want to, potentially purchase, what, when they potentially want to sign up. And then, of course, those brilliant numbers that we were able to pull over the test sample of the last 30 days based on revenue. Even the estimated revenue, like I said, dwarfed it for probably by about 6 times, by a factor of 6. So, again, Nu Skin's corporate page pulled in about maybe an estimated $4,200 just on Facebook post of people clicking on, to the order and going through the whole order process. And then again, based on people doing it to their personal Facebook pages with our auto post application, you guys probably pulled in close to $27,000 just based on Facebook post itself. That's not including all the other ways that you guys got people to the websites or anything like that. This is just because of Facebook stuff. So as you guys can see, there's a huge chunk that people may be missing out on, and we just want to ensure that you guys are aware of these particular tools that we put in place to help make your job easier to share that information. So that way you don't have to worry about what do I say, when do I say it, do I need to sit on top of my computer 24/7, or can the system kind of do a little bit of the legwork for me? So that's going to bring us a little bit more closer to, of course, the close of today's training webinar. Again, today's session is recorded. I'm going to get it up for you guys probably early afternoon just because it's a little bit of a smaller one. Again, what we'll be going through in 2 weeks' time, or maybe even 3 weeks' time, because I believe we'll be canceling the one in 2 weeks because you guys have another event that's going down. So we'll probably return. Let's see, it's not going to be on the 23rd, but I believe it's going to be on the 30th, it sounds like. So we'll end up skipping the 23rd, canceling that one, and just picking up the next week after that instead of making it another 2 weeks until the 7th. So I know Nu Skin Corporate's going to make that invitation available for you guys so you can sign up for the Wednesday morning webinar session on April 30th. So please join us for that one. What we'll be going over is solely the power of the autoresponders. I'm going to take, of course, probably a good chunk of that morning's time and specifically, guys, show you how to set up an autoresponder campaign yourself, how to, of course, put the information in there, how to add all the different, media items, videos, PDFs, all that kind of stuff. And then also using things like custom data tags, so that way you don't always have to type your name in, or even using like contacts first name, so I don't ever have to accidentally call somebody by the wrong first name when I share some information through the ops system with them. So thanks so much, ladies and gentlemen, again for joining us this morning. We know it's, we certainly appreciate you guys taking times out of your lives, especially on the mornings, to come hang out with us and learn a little bit about the tools that we're all using to share the information with everybody. So again, it's probably going to be about 3 weeks' time until we meet again, so be looking for invites concerning a morning training on April 30th. Other than that, you guys have a great, of course, week, and if some of you guys are on spring break, stay safe, and we'll talk soon.